These are the complete interviews with the subjects for the documentary Encounters. The only editing performed on the footage are camera cuts, sound correction, and minor color corrections.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do all right, that's what I needed. Okay, if you don't mind, let me get your name, and do you approve of being on camera?
I do approve of being on camera, and my name is Evan.
All right, Evan. I guess the best way to start this is, why are we doing this interview?
Well, first of all, I can't believe that I'm actually kind of getting this story out, because it's been something that I've almost been ashamed of, or to tell my friends or family. They'll think I'm crazy, because the story sounds crazy, and it is crazy, but that's what makes it special too. UFOs have always interested me. I'm a mycologist by trade. I'm into mushrooms, but UFOs have always been the mistress. I can't say I've really saw anything crazy. I watched Greer. He did his CE5, and they were meditating and all this stuff. I'm into meditation as well, so I thought, why not? I'll get out and meditate, and sounds kooky, but summon. I started getting some hits. We started seeing some stuff in the sky. A lot of orbs that'll reappear, appear, split in two, zoom off at incredible speeds, and you're in awe. Like I said, I do have several videos of that sort of thing.
And you've had more than one encounter of something like that?
I have.
Okay.
I have, and I'd say I have a pretty high success rate when the clouds. It's a nice clear sky, and I really feel it. What you do with the C5, you have to. I feel like they know if you're afraid, and I don't think they want to show themselves to you if you're going to be afraid or scared. And it sounds weird, but I guess that's kind of part of the protocol. You have to have an open mind, open heart. But yeah, I do have a fairly high success rate. I mean, maybe 50%. That we're going to see something you can't explain. Something that I, as a skeptic, first I would deduct drones. Is it a plane? No, it's not a plane. We know. Is it a helicopter? There's not many people flying drones around this area anyways, but it's something. Is it? Am I seeing UFOs? I don't know, they're identified. Is it government? Is it? I don't know what it is, but it's something. Now, on the other hand, this is what we're getting into. I love looking at the night sky. I couldn't sleep. It was about 3 in the morning maybe. She was in bed. Everybody was in bed. I felt the urge to go out and just go meditate, and because it was a clear night, I couldn't pass it up because we don't have too many around here. I did my meditation. I looked in the sky. Hours passed. Nothing really eventful came about. I went out back to get a different vantage point, lay by my pool, and it was getting dark or light by then. It was probably around 7:30, and it was bright blue sky, beautiful morning sky. Not a cloud in the sky, no obstructions. She came out, my wife, and she's like, "What are you doing, baby?" "Oh yeah," and I was like, "Let's do this. Let's." This is the hokiest part. She knew what the CA5 was, as a healthy skeptic, but she knows she's also saw some stuff. So we did it. And I kid you not, I feel so stupid even saying this. Moments after she did her thing, out of the blue sky, this object appeared. And when you see something like that, your brain, you can't wrap your head around it, because it's like nothing you saw before. It's like if I show you a new collar that's never been seen before, how do you describe that? It's something that should not have been flying from the means that I've seen, airplanes or whatnot, and it appeared out of thin air. It had this iridescent kind of look to it, and it was hitting, even though the sky was blue, it was still hitting off these tones of sunrise, and very weird. And it was very low to our house. I can't estimate how low, but I mean, to me, I mean, it looked like that big in the sky. So it was a couple 100 feet above, about the size of like a little Allegiant airplane, something like that. It'd be like if you twisted the airplane to its side and took off one of the wings, and that's the best I described it. It had no,
So like a cigar shape?
but it had a very defined wing on the bottom.
Okay.
And you know, there was no noise. I didn't see any windows or anything like that. And you're just, what is that? That's nothing that should be in the sky. That's nothing we've ever saw. And it completely changed not only my outlook, but her outlook in life. And I'm so grateful that I did have somebody out there to corroborate this, because I don't know if I would have ever told anybody, because it sounds so stupid and I don't want to hurt my reputation. You know, my friends and family, I haven't even told them, you know, a couple of select friends, but because I know how, I don't want to put that on me. They think I'm getting mentally ill or something.
Yeah, there's still a stigma, exactly.
There is, but I assure you, this was real. And there's a lot more going on than what we think. I look at it as like you try and teach a dog geometry or algebra. The dog can't comprehend that.
Right.
I think we're the dogs in this situation. There's stuff, we're not top dogs. You know, there's bigger, more intelligent things out there.
Was there any sound coming from?
There was no sound that I could discern.
Okay.
And I feel like I would have heard it since it was so low. It came out of the blue. And maybe 3, 4, 5 seconds, and it was gone. You know, we both ran out to their backyard to see if we could.
And it just disappeared, or it fly off?
It went over like the tree canopy back here, but we ran right after it, and something that low, we would have saw it, or we would have heard it. It was very low. So,
and was this in Ohio?
yeah, it was in Ohio.
How long ago was that?
I believe it was in August-ish.
Okay. Of this year?
This year.
Okay, so
This
just a
year.
few months ago.
It was. And I feel like nothing is the same anymore. Like nothing, like my world changed, her world changed. Like we're just looking at life a lot different, because we realize this isn't orbs in the sky, this is something we saw, and either it's some kind of government, some type of vehicle, or it's not.
Now, you've said you've got some video of some orbs.
Yes.
Not that.
No, if I had video of that, I think it'd be the best thing ever caught on camera. I would have loved to have that on camera.
We'll use, like I said, we'll check it. I'll send you a file request, and you can download
Absolutely.
it to it. The orb sightings, were you seeing those before this?
Yes,
Okay.
before this. You know, I was into it pretty heavy for like a month before we saw this, you know, nice summer sky, go out and meditate, and it's peaceful. You know, we have 4 kids, so we'll take the time out, you know, anytime we can. And the night sky is beautiful anyways. You know, you look up there and it just feels peaceful and like you're at home, you know.
But I always have to ask this, so I apologize in advance.
Yes.
But I do this with every interview. LSD, acid, stuff like that, no hallucinogenics that would cause it?
No, I was under no hallucinogenics.
Have you felt like someone has been checking on you since then, whether it be government or some type of entity? I mean, have you felt any of that type of presence?
I have not. I have not felt any of that. I haven't even really thought about it. You know, I don't. You know, I've never. Cause I haven't put this story out anywhere. So no, I haven't felt like anybody. But I felt like maybe the connection between all the stuff that we have seen prior, which I have the video of, and this, I think could be correlated.
Now, out of curiosity, and I won't have this on the thing, do you know the date when you saw it?
We could
I
look.
think you could probably figure it. I just would love to check the MUFON records to see if there's been anything else reported in, say, Southern Ohio.
Yeah, we could definitely. I gave a rough
Kentucky or-
estimate date. I could definitely get down the date because, I mean,
Okay.
look at our phones and see
Yeah.
what we talked about. And
All right. I would just, like I said, I had one of a sighting here in Ohio, and that actually, excuse me, they had surrounded his bed, and he was in sleep paralysis.
Right.
But we had, there was a MUFON report from like 5 miles away of somebody else that saw a craft or
Interesting.
whatever. That was
Interesting.
kind of interesting.
it is. Yeah, so the date would be helpful. I mean,
Exactly.
just to check it out.
You haven't reported it or anything like that to MUFON or any of that?
I didn't. I just felt this urge to just tell somebody because you see something like that, but you also have that hesitation of putting yourself out there,
Yeah.
you know. But I wrote up a thing on MUFON and I didn't include a location or date, and they said, we really want to hear your story. Please repost and kind of have your date and location. And then I just put it off for a while. Then I was like, you know what? I'm not worried about what people think. There's nobody I know on that site anyway, so I'm gonna put it out there. And
Is that on the website or on the group?
no, that was just on a Facebook group.
Okay, gotcha.
So, that's it. I kind of put myself out there, and here I am.
Does it feel better to talk about it?
It does. It does. But, I shouldn't worry about what people think. Or I've had a lot of support from the community, and I haven't had much ridicule. I've had some people like, "Well, where's the pics at? Why didn't you get pictures?" I was like, I think I was sitting on my phone or something like that. I don't even know. I can't get my phone on and turn it on. I'm more focused on. I'm enamored. So, but if anybody's questioning this phenomenon, it's real. There's something going on, and I think we all have to just look up. Just look up. Have an open mind. You got to think how many years ago we thought the Earth was flat. We worship the sun as a god. Humanity is advancing, and there's stuff beyond our belief. You give a guy in 1800s an iPhone, what's he gonna think of that? It's unbelievable. He couldn't conceive something like that. Well, those unconceivable things, they're still ahead of us, and I think we're going to look back, and it's going to be all common knowledge.
Just 2 years ago, you had the stigma of if you saw a UFO, you were crazy. And, 2 years ago, the Pentagon said, hey, guess what?
Yep.
We don't know what these are.
Yep.
And then since those two, over the past 2 years, they've changed it from we don't know what they are to they're otherworldly and not man-made.
And there hasn't, surprisingly, not a lot of people just don't seem like they care. And I don't know if that's by design or what. I think we're all too focused on other things in life to really care. And
We have so much misinformation out there anyway that
yeah.
it's easy for people to just you'll have one political spectrum say they're saying this to hide what they're doing politically, and then you've got the other one that's saying they're just making up stuff.
It's impossible to follow, impossible to get the truth. I do feel like the government's known that there's been some stuff. I don't know what they know, and I understand on their part. In my mind, if they came out with a lot of different stuff, I think it would cause kind of a shift in society. I don't know, good or bad. Maybe mass panic, maybe not. I think it could tank religion a lot, and a lot of religious people. I think that could change their views on religion, and you kind of rewrite the script.
And I was on a podcast the other night discussing that, and I was telling him, if the government would have released this in like the 80s, the Vatican would have been burned down.
Yeah.
But now they release it, and for one, in the 80s you had 3 channels. you would have to see it. It's on the news. Now there's,
so much information, so much crammed in our face everywhere we go. We look down, we look up, TVs, phones, tablets.
And Ned, as far as orbs, you say you can see them about 50% of the time, success rate?
Yeah, I see something. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not one out there that's going to say, "Oh, that's that's a UFO." I have a healthy discernment of what I'm considering. You see something and it stops, goes this way, speeds off, splits in two. I mean, what is it? I don't know what it is.
It's not an airplane.
It's not an
yeah,
airplane.
Exactly. It's not a meteorite.
It's not a meteorite. It's not. I did a lot of research on drones and what they can do some cool stuff at night. It wasn't a drone. It's like a drone, and I guess I don't. Some of these sightings were out in the middle of the forest, Shawnee Forest. There's nobody having a drone there at night. The ISS, that's one that people will get confused with because it does move and it's bright. So I kind of deducted all these other things until I get to the point where I don't know.
Yeah.
So
What's the closest nuclear facility to here?
it's pretty close. The A plant, it's in this county. So
Okay. Because that's where I'm finding a lot of the sightings are in
Really?
here. And yeah.
yeah, I've read and seen a lot of things about them turning off nuclear missiles and kind of shutting down that kind of thing, nuclear warheads, and I'm sure you've heard the stories. So that's really interesting. I didn't even think about that, having the nuclear plant close by.
Now, this particular part, I'm just telling y'all for your information, and this won't be on here. In fact, I'm going to reset everything while I tell you. Your husband looks nice on camera.
Always.
Awesome. I feel like I'm getting old. I just had my, I'm about to have my birthday. I haven't aged. So what, 36?
But you still have to be a little skeptical, not necessarily try to disprove someone, just to
Yeah.
knock out the.
A lot of times when I would do a lot of research, and I'm thinking these guys, a lot of them are just, some of these stories, it's just hard to fathom, hard to believe. And I would write off a lot of them. And I thought they were kind of discredit to the UFO community for kind of putting it out there and making people think it's so hokey and not take it as serious. But after my experience, I'm taking a closer look at these guys. Are they all telling the truth? Probably not. Is there a good percentage of them that are? I would say so. Any experience that happens to these people is going to sound crazy. What I saw, it sounds crazy. There's not a sane way to tell these things that happen. So I think, I'm giving everybody the benefit of the doubt now. And my mind's opened, forever open, as hers. It's changed the way we think of things, changed the way we lived. It was that profound of an experience. A godly experience, I don't know. But it makes you understand that you're not alone. And we're not. And the world isn't as we think it is.
Now you said it was kind of life-changing for you. What steps have you taken since then? Or are you just trying to find out more information? Or are you trying to make contact?
I have since then. I just can't imagine ever getting that close to something like that again in broad daylight. When I do a lot of my stuff, I never did in daylight. It was always at night. But yeah, we were just looking for some infrared cams and stuff like that, because different spectrums you can see a lot of different things. So yeah, since then I've recorded stuff, and since then I've been doing it. It's I don't know. It's hard to explain, man, but I get a feeling of peace out there, and I'm not afraid. None of it's ever scared me. I think if whatever's here was here to do harm, we wouldn't be sitting here talking right now.
So you feel more comfort than anything?
I felt comfort. I felt no fear, just awe and amazement. You just kind of sit there, and your brain, and over this course of time, I could tell my brain's trying to rationalize it. Oh, it was a broken plane sideways. It was this, it was that. And no, I know what we saw, and you can't explain it. So how do you explain something that can't be explained? How do I get across what I saw? I mean, it's nothing that's ever.
I'm sure you two discussed this right after it happened. How did that conversation go between the two of you?
Are you serious? But I mean, we were so excited, but we're just like, this changes everything. Like it was just like the Bengals won the Super Bowl. Like I was so happy. Like that was awesome. Like I don't know if people's ever going to get experience that. That's what I've went for, and it made me feel like what we were doing worked. It was just a very surreal moment, and I felt after, like even weeks after, I just felt at peace, and I became a little more inquisitive and just wondering the meaning of life. It made me question the meaning of life. It made me question where we are, what's our part, if we're something that doesn't even matter as humans, or we're just like a byproduct of something, or if, I don't know, it's made me go down the rabbit hole and question a lot of things. I try not to get too deep with it because then I'll go crazy. But like I said, it's real and it's out there, and I hope people do believe this, and I hope people will kind of take a different approach and different look. All you gotta do is look up. There's lots of information out there, but look up, have an open mind, and you might see something. So.
Anything else you want to add?
Covered it. For the most part, I think.
Okay, yeah, you can go ahead and start telling me now.
Yeah, this is approximately where I was when the sighting happened. It was early morning. The sky was blue. It's a beautiful day. Kind of looking up, and there's a tree line up here. There's pretty large sycamore trees here. It didn't feel like it was maybe 100 feet above that. I don't know. It was very large in the sky. Like, to my eyes, probably this big. It popped, watched it, and it went over these trees here. I ran to the back of my yard, through here, and went out the front gate, and there was nothing to be seen. It was totally gone. And something that size, you would have seen it. There's no sound, and something that low, close, not having a sound was kind of eerie. Out of this world. It's out of this world is the only way I can really say it. It got me into like theories of different dimensions, and maybe there's cross dimensions, shifting in different dimensions. A lot of the top scientists and physicists believe that's a real thing. They believe in multiple dimensions. So that's, unless it's a cloaking kind of thing, that's the only thing that I, in my mind, can say that that's where it came from. Different dimension, or I had some kind of cloaking device. It's one of the two. I feel crazy talking about this, but it's kind of drove me nuts ever since then, trying to figure it out. And I can't figure it out. I just have to accept that I'm not going to be able to figure it out.